Welcome to the Awaken on Purpose podcast, where each week you'll hear inspirational stories of heart-centered leaders who have awakened to their higher purpose and taken that leap of faith to follow their heart and make an impact in the world. Get ready to be enlightened, empowered, and transformed with your host, Jennifer Spohr.
It is my joy to welcome to the show today, Amber Peay. With over 10 years of experience in learning and development and almost 10 years as a dedicated mom and entrepreneur, Amber Peay is known for being committed to kindness at scale and seeks to empower and collaborate with others to shine more light on this simple superpower strength. At an early age, Amber learned to ignite her challenges into courage through her faith. Because of her personal experiences, Amber has a passion to help others achieve through life's constant challenges. She leads from her heart and through her energy to encourage others that they are enough and can achieve all things. She is delivering this message as a keynote speaker, inspiring others to overcome and grow because of their challenges. She continues to reach larger audiences as she has started writing her first book. Amber also created the Achieve group on LinkedIn in service of her personal and professional values, driven by faith, family, and service. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I am recollecting now, for over a year, you have been an incredible and inspiring friend, and I really just can't thank you enough for having me on your Awake and on Purpose podcast today. Thank you so much.
Oh, I feel the same about you. Thank you so much. I'm just thrilled to have you and to be able to share your story, which I know is so inspiring, and it's going to inspire our listeners as well. So what inspired you to actually do what you're doing today? In reflecting on your life over the last several years, how did you get from where you were to where you are now before you kind of discovered that higher calling, right?
Yes, that's a great question. It's a great discovery question because it's
and inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. Well, it helps even personally to talk about this because we feel like we know it, but when we're asked the question, we're almost, it makes us really think about it. And when you do that, I know for me, I realized it's a combination of things. So it was no one thing. It was nothing overnight, it's just a combination of the start of my accidental discovery of my passion for cooking. That was many years ago now, but there were several burnt meals, several overcooked, oversalted. I now have learned so many tips with that. But also, I've always had a deep desire to own my own business. And it wasn't until I found my passion for cooking that things started connecting. But really and truly, it didn't even really click, that aha moment, until I had my inspiration. And it was just the timing of the inspiration from my oldest daughter. And that is how Granola Grown came to life. There's a whole story there, but I was making granola with Aniston is her name. She's 9 now. She was 2 at the time. Hard to believe. And it was just in that moment with me making granola with her that I was inspired by her that, oh my goodness, this is what I need to be doing. Like, it just was in her and me wanting to share that with her as well. So, it's been an ongoing journey way before that point, and definitely from that point on, by me aligning my personal and professional values through Granola Grown. I was very intentional of that to begin with. And I'm now taking that same overall message that's through Granola Grown of warmth and gratitude that's more within the hospitality industry, at the hotels and spas. And I'm now expanding it to other individuals to help them, help those that are facing adversity to ignite their challenges into opportunities. And it's an interesting time that we're talking today, Jennifer, because I'm currently right now trying so deliberately, so intentionally to spread this message through speaking engagements. And as you mentioned, writing this first book. And eventually I want to spread that message even more through Granola Grown, through each package that's delivered.
It really is divinely guided how everything unfolded for you. And what you said about, discovering what you explained about discovering your passion for cooking and granola and how you've churned not just the product itself, but the values, around what compelled you to develop that, how everything unfolded with how you're now sharing that is really amazing. And it's important for people to hear that message, because I help a lot of people who are at somewhat of a crossroads in their life, right? They're feeling a call to do more. And the thing is, I hear a lot of people talk about, well, I need to get clear on my purpose,
Right.
The thing is that most people know. They already know what that is, but they don't believe that they can make a living doing what brings them joy. And so you sharing that part of your story, I just think it's awesome. And it's a great example of how we can really take something that we're passionate about and leverage that in a way that we're able to not only be fulfilled, but to serve others as well.
Exactly. You said everything as I was thinking it. And I couldn't agree more, because we all have our own unique purpose. It's already in us, and it really is, it's so all connected, and it's beautiful once we have that belief to push it all through. But you're right. It really starts with that purpose, that passion that we already have in us. And then once we really, not really, we discover that, right? Like we really oh, wow. And everything starts falling into place. It's at that point that we can then really start prioritizing what we're focusing on to really perform those things, like you're saying, because, to spread that message, to spread those values. But, it really is like, once we have that determined to focus on and set it as a priority, then we get excited, and then we start really performing, and it creates this whole platform that allows us to do that in such a bigger way. And it really is amazing, because I feel that I've gone through this, but I'm still going through it, because it changes. We do change. And so it's an interesting process for us to understand and acknowledge and accept, because, and I'm no different than you or anyone else, because we will all go through this, hopefully, and again and again, so today my values are the same, but some of those things, as far as the passions and all those things, may alter a little bit, and that's okay. But just knowing that it's part of the process and appreciating that and just trusting it, it really is a beautiful process when we believe that, and the belief is behind it all.
Absolutely. Our souls crave expansion.
Yes. That's so true. I love that.
It is. Yes, I know. Despite, traditional society that mostly teaches us that we should fear change, right? But it's actually the opposite. Yes. So follow your bliss, people, to whoever's listening. So, Amber, every experience in our lives shapes who we are. What experience in your life do you feel has been significant in shaping who you've become today?
At this point, I'm in my mid-30s. I've definitely made a lot of decisions and experienced life, if you will. And I could list several, growing up without a mom, relying on my dad for support. But really, at this point, being a mom is definitely the best decision I've made and the accomplishment that I'm the most proud of. And the experience of being a mom has been so significant in developing myself personally and unexpectedly professionally from learning to be more selfless and patient. I always thought I was patient, but I have really learned the true meaning of patience, to managing my priorities, as we were just talking about, and leading by example. And all of these ongoing experiences continue to shape me every single day. And it truly gives me the greatest gratification in my life.
That's awesome. And I am not a parent, but I am very close. I'm a stepmother, actually. I just got married myself this last December, actually. So I have 3 grown stepchildren and 2 grandchildren. But I can understand what you're saying about patience, right? It's like,
yes,
before those blessings come into your life, you think you know what patience is, but then you really learn that at a whole nother level. And relationships, whether they're with children, our partners, or people that we work with, relationships are some of our greatest teachers in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's real. Yeah, it's real. You can read, what to expect, how to, all these great resources, but you're right. It's those relationships, those human interactions that are very unpredictable that they really do. They shape us, and they are the biggest teachers. And I can relate also, Jennifer. Life is an interesting, beautiful journey in that I have a, similar, but of course different, where we all have our own unique situation. And my oldest is 9, and I am remarried. So my husband is a stepdad. So I see that whole side and paradigm from him. And it's been really enlightening for me, actually, to learn that side of it too. And then also we now have a daughter together that's, she's, oh my goodness, I said almost, she just turned 2. See how that happens? But, and it's just, I'm sitting here just smiling because I agree with what you said. You, in a sense, feel like you have it somewhat figured out, as I did with my 9-year-old. Now, what I mean by that is there are days that I felt great and prepared and dinner on the table, and other days I'm like, what am I doing? I'm barely, what do we have in the pantry to throw something together? I don't mean it like that. I just mean, okay, I'm learning, and I felt satisfied, if you will, for the relationship. It wasn't perfect, and it's still not perfect, but just grateful for where I was. And I have to tell you, just kind of witnessing and helping when needed, as far as that whole complexity with, my husband now, with the step parenting is just so rewarding, but it is different in its own beautiful ways. But then also having a second child, wow, patience. It is like, again, I'm relearning it because I felt like I had, learned it a little bit more. I became less selfless, more patient than I first, but this took me for a spin. Like I just, and so I'm very grateful for it because it gives me so much more empathy for others. And whether it's a second child or a pet or job or project, it just is, it's different, whatever that relationship or thing is. But it does, those relationships, it really is the biggest teacher. It has been for me. But through it, it feels the best. It is the most gratifying at the end of the day. I don't know if you feel the same. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I view every relationship as as a blessing and a learning. And that's just one of the gifts of life, are all of the new experiences that we get to have each day.
Yeah.
Not just to learn from, but to cherish and be grateful for too. And that includes, the tougher ones also, because I believe that every experience that we have serves a purpose, a greater purpose as well. So there are a lot of people out there who are feeling called to do more in the world. They might be unfulfilled in their career and their life, and they want to make a bigger impact. But what holds a lot of people back is usually fear of the unknown. What advice would you have for others who are feeling called to do more? What could you tell them or share with them that could help them take action today?
That's a great question. And I may need to listen to my own advice here and anything you want to add. Yeah, if you have those reoccurring feelings, you need to listen. Listen to your feelings and take intentional and consistent action. Take it one step at a time each day. Don't try to force it, but just listen and let those feelings guide you. And with that, what I'm really experiencing now, I had to just kind of get out of my own way with this, but choosing progression over perfection. And that, for me, is how more happens. Because when we stop ourselves, because you mentioned the word fear, we're fearful of the unknown and failure. And, well, what if I leave this and then worse happens? And, well, okay, what if it does? It was still meant to be part of that bigger learning moment and building us for that next better opportunity that was built for you. So that would be my advice, is to, first of all, just listen. Don't keep ignoring it and pushing it off to, okay, well, let me just get through, we have the holidays coming up. Let me just get through the holidays and let me just get through this one project, or, okay, I'll do that once this slows down, because the reality is it's not going to slow down. And really, you probably don't want it to, it's a good thing. So you have to just listen and take action, because we can listen and read and learn all day long, but without action, that more is not going to really happen. So just listening and taking action and just letting things happen.
Gosh, there's so much to unpack from what you just said. The first piece, perfectionism, that is so common, especially when it comes to making significant changes for our lives. There's never a right time to do it. And what I feel a lot of people don't consider is that a lot of people think about what will it cost to make the change.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't think about, what is it costing me to stay where I'm at? And when we have those feelings, they don't go away. They just keep getting stronger. And in my case, I learned the hard way. I felt a call to make a change in my career a few years ago, but I ignored it for a while because of my own fear around having such a well-established career and wondering at 40, could I even do anything else? But those feelings didn't go away. They just kept getting stronger until I finally answered them. So yeah, it's so important to just take that imperfect action, because we're never going to see the whole path ahead before we leap. That's a lot of what having faith is all about. And those feelings that you talk about having and answering that calling, that's our intuition. And that's one of the many ways, that God and the universe speaks through us. And so it's so important to have the willingness to listen to that and to believe and know that we are always guided and supported.
Yes, that is such a strong message because we need to be reminded of that every day. And it's so true. It is our guide. It is our internal compass. It's there whether I will just admit I am directly challenged. So I have in the past found myself lost, like physically lost. And it's in the same sense where pulling out that GPS and finding our way to get unlost and finding that path to guide us. And it's the same thing. I do rely on my faith as my internal compass to guide me through all of these obstacles, but even like you mentioned, the tough ones, and being grateful for those tough ones, because it's because of those that we do grow and become stronger in the person we're meant to be. And so just trusting in that, which is, the faith part, and getting through that and really just relying on that. And it's tough, I know, because I have a very imperfect spiritual journey myself. And have always believed in God as far as the road through that. It's very imperfect. And that's okay, because again, I know that was all meant to be part of the bigger plan. So just trusting that as you continue to grow and to be able to share that with others that maybe aren't there yet. And we're never, I don't believe, we always have so much room to grow. So I feel like we need to continually seek out information for us to continue to grow in that path and just trusting that.
Absolutely. I believe that we're eternal students as well. And what you said about sharing our experiences with others, I also believe that very much, that it's part of our purpose here is not just about following our bliss. It's very much about that, but it also involves sharing our own life experiences, sharing that wisdom with others to help support them on their journey. The connection that we have as a collective, it just amazes me. It just blows my mind, the synchronicity of it all. I could talk about that for hours.
That'd be a great conversation.
Yeah, I can talk all day long about that. So, Amber, how can someone find you? You have a lot of great things in the works right now. I know you're working on your first book. So if someone wants to follow you and anything else that you'd like to share with the listeners as far as what you're working on right now too, that would be great. Let us know, where can we find you?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And because there are so many new things going on right now, the best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn. And although very soon you can find me at the Amber Peay, so Amber Peay.com site, where eventually you can access valuable resources for those that are facing adversity, because, that's not going to change. We're going to continually face those life's constant obstacles. So finding resources and helpful ways to ignite those challenges into opportunities through, like we talked about, those intentional actions to live a fulfilled life. And also right now, on LinkedIn, and it'll eventually be on the site as well, you can follow my first book vlog, where I take you on the book writing journey with me. All of oh goodness, already it's been such a gratifying experience, and then also some frustration. So I'm sharing all of that realness. So as far as the right now, that's the best place to reach me, is on LinkedIn and through my first book vlog.
That sounds amazing. And I know, myself included, there are so many people out there that have a book on their heart. And I'm sure through following your journey that they will be able to not only resonate with you, but learn a lot as well.
Yes. And what I can do too, Jennifer, actually, I have created 2 resources that I can share as well. If someone is aspiring to be an author, that have helped me, as I'm quite literally going through it right now in the moment. And I've been taking some notes to help others, as we talked about, kind of sharing that wisdom with others. And I have two things I just put together. It's just a 10 tips takeaway on things, to help through the process, and then a very quick checklist. So one's just more of like a quick checklist, and the other asks more questions because there's so much power in a question, and those 10 tips to go through the process. So I can share that with you if that would be helpful.
Yeah, that would be great. And for anyone else who wants more info about that, they can find that on LinkedIn?
Yes, absolutely.
Through visiting your profile?
Yes, it will be there.
Awesome. Amber, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and for sharing your story. It's always inspirational to me to hear about somebody who is finding joy in what they're doing. It's really special.
Well, you know how much I appreciate you and your support and positive energy that you always, whether you realize it or not, you just really pour into anyone's day that you're a part of. And I feel that right now in this moment. So thank you for allowing me to be on your show here and to learn from you as well. I really appreciate the opportunity, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Amber.
Thank you for listening to the Awake and on Purpose podcast. Please visit us and subscribe to the podcast at awakeandonpurpose.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about how you can connect with your higher purpose and take that leap of faith to make your impact in the world, visit us at jenniferspor.com. And while you're there, be sure to join our email list for exclusive offers and a weekly dose of inspiration.